We also want to see the compassionate use program made more inclusive. We see that the 2015 legislation has been rolled out. Department of Public Safety has licensed 3 companies, and we see several hundred patients have started to benefit from the low THC program. Now, so I'm grateful to see a few hundred people benefiting from this program that passed in 15, which was unreasonably restrictive, but we are seeing people benefiting. We're seeing that the Department of Public Safety can actually regulate this program. We have cannabis being grown right now legally in the state of Texas. However, patients are being left behind, and some of the most sick among us deserve access to this medicine if it can benefit them. And we want to see this program made more inclusive in 2 ways. One, we want to see the list of qualifying conditions expanded. There are many people with debilitating conditions that can benefit. Folks with cancer, PTSD, multiple sclerosis, Crohn's disease, chronic pain has to be one of the qualifying conditions considering the opiate epidemic we are facing in this country. And cannabis is saving lives. Texans deserve that access. So that's part A of making it more inclusive. Part B is lifting the arbitrary cap on THC that we see currently in place. Patients through the compassionate use program, all the hoops they have to go through, the 2 specialists, they only have access to low THC cannabis, 0.5% THC. So there's one way to look at this, and is that the THC is the only limited cannabis component. It's the only cannabinoid that's restricted. Terpenes aren't restricted. So we have still a lot of opportunity with that, but capping THC demonstrates how shallow of an understanding these folks have of how cannabis works with the body and how it can benefit people. THC is very therapeutic, and doctors and patients should be the ones deciding which strains of cannabis are going to be best for them, which cannabinoids are going to work with their biochemistry and with their particular condition. So we'd like to see that the cap lifted entirely, and that'll make the program more inclusive. There are 2 other changes that have to happen in order for this program to become functional. One is something we've been talking about since 2015, trying to get the legislation changed to protect doctors. There are only about 40 doctors in the entire state of Texas after 3.5 years participating in this program. And it's in large part because of the risk that they take by participating. So number one, I commend them for taking a stand and participating in this program in spite of the fear. But we have to change this law to protect them. And the problem is that the current law requires them to prescribe cannabis. You can't prescribe a Schedule I drug. You can recommend it, and that's how it works in all of the other legal medical marijuana states. Doctors recommend cannabis, and they certify patients, and that's a formal process through the state, but it's not technically a prescription. That has to change. Finally, including laboratories. We don't have any mechanism for independent testing of cannabis products under the compassionate use program. A company can test their own products, and I trust the guys that are making this medicine right now. I think they're doing a really good job. They have everything to lose by screwing it up, so I'm sure that they're on their game. However, thinking about this from a bigger picture, when we have hundreds or thousands of cannabis businesses licensed in Texas because we've expanded this program and expanded patient access, we need to have accountability, and a way to ensure that is to allow for independent third-party labs to test products for contamination, for potency, to make sure that what's on the label is actually in the bottle, and make sure that we can hold the industry accountable through independent testing. So we've got a lot coming up. Just to give a brief timeline.